Zinzino, we inspire change in life.
Testing. Hello, hi, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our weekly doctor webinar. I'm Vincent here, and I will be your main host and translator for tonight's session. For today, for those who wish to listen to Mandarin, you click on the icon below. Just click on Mandarin, and then you will be able to attend. All right. I will be doing the translation after our introduction. Okay, I'm so happy to see you again tonight. Thank you for taking your time off to participate in tonight's session to enrich yourself. Okay, I think most of you, some of you may have invited your prospects and customers to this session. Just send them a reminder again to make sure that they are on the call now, so they don't miss out any important information that we are going to share today. Okay, as you can see from the topics today, Doctor will be discussing with everyone regarding chronic disease and how can we actually minimize the impact. Okay, let's take a look around us, our families, our friends. Are you seeing more cases of health-related issues nowadays, right? For example, people getting high blood pressure, diabetes, more cases of stroke, heart problems, or even cancer, right? Comparing now to maybe 5 to 10 years ago, I think you can see you can probably be hearing more and more people having this issue. You know, even just today, we were just doing some sharing with one of the new partners, and she was saying that her brother-in-law was actually okay. We visited the doctor. Doctor given him all clear for his annual checkup. But 2 weeks later, he actually just collapsed and gone. Just collapsed and gone. So nowadays we are hearing quite a bit of quite a lot of such cases. So I think we are also seeing a trend of health-related issues being not just affecting the elderly, but also a trend of having a younger person having all this chronic disease. All right. So let's think about it. Why are these always happening, and how can we minimize or prevent this? Let us hear from Dr. Abraham later on during his session. And of course, Doctor will also be touching a little bit about the balance test. And I would like to over here. I would like to share that we have reached 1 million balance tests. 1 million balance tests for Zinzino community. So it's like they have helped 1 million people back to balance. So this is just a start. This is just a start. As you can see from the video, we are going to help a lot more people globally, and not just in Asia, globally, to be back to balance and be healthy. All right. So until today, we have done slightly more than 1 million. And of course, later on, we'll have some good news for everyone as well regarding this. Okay. And also, by the way, for those who are just joining us for the first time, okay, welcome to our health webinar. Zinzino, the test-based nutrition, okay, and a listed company based in Sweden. Okay, and of course, we are also the world. We are the company. We are the world-leading company with the largest fatty acid test database. So we have plenty of customers in Europe, and of course now we are starting to have more and more customers here in Asia. All right. So, and we will help more people, more customers to be back to balance with the balance test and balance oil. All right. And of course, before the end of the session, we will also open up the field for some Q&As. So this is going to be a wonderful opportunity for you to ask Dr. Abraham anything regarding health and products. Okay, I'm pretty sure over the past, if you have been sharing with your customers, with your prospects, okay, you will probably be encountering a lot of product questions from them. So if those questions that you're unsure of, feel free to chat with Dr. Abraham during his Q&A segment. All right. Okay, that will be a good time for everyone to share and learn together. Okay, before we start, let me give everyone a short introduction of Dr. Abraham. Doctor is based in Malaysia, KL, and has been in the medical field, worked as a doctor, worked as a doctor in the hospital for more than 40 years. So he's very experienced and has helped plenty of patients back to their health. Okay, even though he's a medical doctor, he truly believes in the holistic approach to keeping our body healthy. And right now, of course, he's in the scientific advisory board for Zinzino and has been working very closely with the rest of the board members to develop better and wonderful product for you and the market. I can't wait to get the session started. So without further ado, let us all type in 888 into the chat box to give our warmest applause to welcome Dr. Abraham. Doctor, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Vincent. Thank you guys for coming. As usual, this is going to be a web chat rather than a presentation where we share information, experience about health in general and also touch on the products that Zinzino has to offer. So this evening, we are going to look at chronic illnesses. These are diseases, once they come on, they won't kill you immediately, but will take time. And usually these illnesses or debilities come later in life. And we will look at the whole picture as we go on. So let me start this by sharing some slides around which we are going to talk. We not only are going to look at these chronic illnesses, but also to see what steps we can take to hopefully minimize their impact. Okay. First of all, let's start at the beginning. Now, if you look at the average lifespan today, it has increased. Let me warn you here, lifespan has not increased much. Average lifespan. For example, if a child dies due to some infection at the age of 5, and the grandfather is still around at 90, the average lifespan of both of them would be about 47 years. Doesn't sound very impressive. But the whole average has been pulled down because of increased death of young children, say about 50, 60 years ago. So today we are able to control these infectious diseases. And in children, most of the deaths due to infectious disease used to happen by the age of 5. Today, that curse has gone down, and therefore the average lifespan has increased. Now, the average lifespan has also increased for certain other illnesses. 20 years ago, if somebody had HIV, they're going to die very soon, maybe a year or 2. But today, there is no cure for HIV, but we have medications to control the viral level, the level of the virus in the blood, that most HIV people today can expect to live a life of almost normal lifespan. Okay? And then we have also improved in the area of biomedical engineering. And so we have developed a lot of equipment to detect certain diseases in the early stages, especially cancer. So cancer incidence has gone up tremendously. Fortunately, we can catch some of them early. When you catch it early, the chances of curing it is better. These things have added to increase the average lifespan. Now, when I say availability and affordability of medical help, some of you may not want to agree. You say, oh, our medical treatment is very expensive, which is very true. Very expensive in developed countries and developing countries also. But look back to 150 years. There was no medical help available for most communities around the world. Somebody got injured, there's nothing much you can do, just wait it out for hopefully normal healing. If there's an infection, there was no antibiotic. If somebody had diarrhea, cholera, you just have to wait it out. Now, most people actually died of these things. There was just no help around. Today, we don't have that situation. Fortunately, we have some form of medical help. Though we talk about poor nutrition nowadays, it's a different type of malnutrition. Okay? Overall, the nutrition has improved over the last 50 years. The only problem is we have taken on better nutrition plus many other things at an excessive level, like carbohydrates and fats, fried foods, and so on. Okay. Now, you may be surprised, but WHO and worldwide bodies are now involved in a lot of preventive care. So they look at situations around the world to see whether they can prevent the occurrence of many things. Like, for example, some time ago, there was famine in Ethiopia. And because the WHO stepped in, there was loss of life, but not as bad as if someone would not have taken some action. Is there a lot of room for improvement? Yes, but we are taking some steps. Now, because the young age illnesses have come down, we live a little longer than before on an average. Now we are faced with another set of illnesses, old age diseases that come as we get older. So we have a totally different pattern today. One of the first things is mental health. This is not recognized very widely. We don't realize that elderly people, almost all of them, have slight depression for many reasons. One, there isn't much time. They are counting years with their fingers, unlike young people. So that itself is a cause for concern. Say 100 years ago or even 50 years ago, families lived as extended families. So elderly people had grandchildren running around and they were very involved with them. There wasn't much time to sit down and remember old times and feel bad about it. Today, that is not the situation with most families. So a major thing with elderly people is depression and, of course, the degeneration of the brain. So you get dementia. The next thing is, of course, the heart, which never stops to work. And therefore, by the time you hit about 50, 60, some stronger guys can hold on to 70, it begins to wear out and there will be heart problems. Now, in between, let us not forget the biochemistry of the cells. The cells become less efficient in converting food to energy, so we get diabetes. They don't know how to, or rather the efficiency of managing fat in the body is less, so we get cholesterol and all that coming up. And of course, the whole body structure. We have 625 muscles, the skeletal bones, about 206. All that has been working all our lives. There's a lot of wear and tear. And one of the earliest things that comes is arthritis. The organ that reduces its function as we get older in a big way are the lungs. When you measure the vital capacity of the lungs of a young person, maybe 25, to a person who is about 55, there's a huge difference, something that you don't see when you talk to the person or you move around. But when you actually measure by tests, there are tests to measure that, the difference is quite alarming. And it is for people who have no lung problem. But if they do have, say, like asthma or there's another condition called COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, long name. Now, this usually happens in ex-smokers, okay? Fortunately, not all smokers get it, but when they do get it, it is not reversible. So the lung also gives us a lot of problems. And then the last part of it, we don't know what is going on. We are unable to untangle as to why we get cancer. And that incidence is also increasing. So we face old age illnesses because now we are living longer than before. We have escaped the infectious diseases, but we are on to degenerative diseases. Let's look at the lifespan. Now, our batteries are preloaded apparently for up to 120 years. Now, that label will not give you a full lifespan. So, longest lived people on the planet today, according to official records, Guinness Book of World Records and so on, it's around 120. So if it is 120, with today's availability of information, facilities, and so on, it is quite reasonable to aim for, shall we say, 99 years. Don't make it sound very big, 100. Let's say 99 years. I think it's possible, because, not because I say it. Even the insurance companies today, some of them are already offering insurance up to the age of 100. I was quite surprised to see that. Okay. Now, if we want to attain a healthy lifespan and take advantage of the average increase in the lifespan, then you have to work towards hopefully being disease-free. It may not be possible 100%, but if we can by and large get by with illnesses that can be controlled with lifestyle, nutrition, medication, and so on, it is still worth it. Okay. One major change that you notice, and Vincent mentioned earlier, if you look around, even within your own family, you will find that everyone above 60 is taking some medication because they have some condition, blood pressure, maybe cholesterol problem, or diabetes, something like that. Okay. Now, what are the factors affecting longevity and health? We need to understand that so that we can work on it. Now, if you will notice, the list here is long. The first two we can't change. The genetics we inherit, and therefore there's nothing much you can do to change. We are born either male or female. By the way, women generally live longer. And if the men say, men feel jealous about it, it is only in the last two generations. Our generation now and the one before that. Prior to that, throughout history, women lived much less number of years than men. They died early. Why? Because there was so much work to do. There was no washing machine, there was no fridge, there were no equipment, and so on. So they had to look after the home, do the cooking, wash the clothes, take care of the husband, and they had a tough time. They got worn out and died much younger. That is why if you look at the older generation, maybe 2 generations ago, the age gap between the husband and wife will be about 10 years or even more, because the woman was not expected to live very long. Very unfortunate. Today, not only today, this generation and the previous one, we must thank modern science. Many amenities and conveniences have come to the home. Not that the women's workload has gone down, but overall, it is not very wearing out. It doesn't wear you out physically, okay? And that's the reason they tend to live a little longer. Now, the third one, we always don't consider this when we talk about health. Now, accidents, I mean, when you hear this on and off, how a young person has died in an accident, it's terrible. It occurs very quickly and suddenly. It puts everybody off. It occurs more than we think of. And when I say accident, I'm not talking about just motorcycle and motor car. We are looking at suicides. In Singapore last year, the suicide rate was for about 479, I think, the figures came out. And that was much higher than the previous previous years, the highest, one of the highest. Now, these are people who succeeded in committing suicide. For everyone who succeeds, there are at least 2 or 3 who tried and didn't make it. So that's another accident, I would say. There are many reasons for that. Okay. Now, let's move on. They find that people who are more educated tend to live longer on an average. Now, let me qualify that not every educated person lives longer. Generally, when you take the whole population, and for the simple reason that they are educated, they have access to information which will help them to look after themselves. And we also know economics, for example, someone who's got more resources, finances, will be able to get more help, or products, preventive measures is more affordable for someone who has more money, okay? They also find that longevity and health is affected by where you stay. I'm talking about geography. Those who live in cooler climates, those who live a little high above sea level from about 3,000 to 5,000 feet and above tend to live longer. Okay, many reasons for that. Maybe we'll go into that another day. Now, politics. Now, some of you might think, how is that connected? Oh, very strongly connected. The present generation has been successfully completed their school, their college, their work life, their married life, and maybe now they are retired. Now, over the last 300, maybe 400 years, no single generation has completed all this without a problem. We don't have to go very far. Just 100+ years ago, someone who was born in, say, 1900, at the age of 14, First World War. At the age of 35, Second World War. The age of 40+, collapse of the stock market, poverty everywhere. And just after that, if you are living in the wrong country, Korean War, Vietnam War, my God, the whole life was conflict, something which we don't see in this generation. So if the politics is not right, there's going to be a lot of deaths and suffering, okay? You look at countries that have long lifespans, Switzerland and Japan, quite stable politically, okay? Singapore has moved out to the second highest lifespan in Asia, next to Japan, just a few months difference. I think in addition to many other things, the political stability also counts, okay? They find that even in poor countries, living condition, conflicts, this and that, they find that people with very strong religious convictions survive longer. And those who have better relationships with their close relatives, family circle, tend to hang around longer. So these are things that seem to support increased longevity and health. I mention all this because this is not the very basic thing. This adds to it. When we look at the very basics, I would say it's nutrition and lifestyle. If you get these two correct, then probably that will make up 80% of the influence for increasing longevity and health. I'm not downplaying the importance of this, but I would say all this will come under lifestyle. Okay. Today, we are only going to look at nutrition. Nutrition, lifestyle. What is the contribution? Very conservatively, almost all nutritionists agree that at least 70% of our longevity and health is affected by nutrition. And we'll look at it as to why that is. Now, if you look at ourselves, generally we think, oh, this is what I am, this is my height, this is my look, I can't change my nose or face because of my genes. And it is true. Quite a lot of our features are decided by our blueprint. And this is imprinted in our genes, which resides in every cell of the body. For a long time, we thought, if you have this gene, you are done. You can't change anything. But when you look at animal breeding, dogs, for example, my God, you can see the difference is amazing. By the right nutrition, the right matching, and so on, you can look at the size of a Great Dane, huge dog. And then you can look at the Chihuahua, so small, it can be kept only in the house. You send the guy outside, he won't survive. Both are dogs. But because of the breeding, within the last 250 years, they have been able to breed dogs matching the genes and nutrition in such a way we can have guard dogs, we have dogs that will look after the sheep in countries that have a lot of this for many functions, okay? So we thought we could play around with the genes, and even then we felt that it is limited. It is only recently, last 10 years or so, they find that there is a major influence on how the genes play out. And these are a set of substances that seem to influence it. And it's around the genes or epicenter, okay? So we call that epigenes. A lot of studies are going into this. We know a little bit more than before, but not much. But what they have found is that both of them can be modified by the right nutrition. Amazing, isn't it? Now, this is already something that we can see in our society. Any family, most families, you will find that the children are bigger, taller, and a little smarter than their parents, generally speaking. Now, they didn't focus too much on nutrition. They gave them good food, regular food, no shortage. So pretty much got their basic nutritional requirements. And it has made such a huge difference. I can see Malaysia is a nice place because we have three major races here. Okay, the indigenous people, the Malays, and then the second will be the largest group, Chinese, and then the Indians. And over the last 50 years, I can see the changes in all the races, how their facial characteristics, their physical size, and all that has changed because of very good nutrition. Malaysia was a place, and it is still a place where you get abundance of food. Only now, the food is now cooked in so many different ways, some of it not healthy. So the nutrition can decide on how well this play out. So if you look at nutrition, you will find these are the main ingredients that go into it. Okay, and we all know this. We have heard this many times before. The large macronutrients and this very micro, we are able to detect the levels of antioxidant enzymes and so on because of the improvements in measurements from the biomedical engineering side. Okay. However, there are some variations in the diet where we need to be a little careful, and we must fill in the empty blanks to make our diet as optimum as possible. And this blanks or requirements vary from time to time. About 20 years ago, it was iron, protein. We had to be careful. We needed more vitamin C. Today, the focus seems to be a little different, and we'll talk about that. By the way, in today's diet, our protein is quite okay. Okay, you just have to be a little bit more careful in choosing your fish or chicken or egg and so on, and your vegetables, and you pretty much get your protein, unless you are a competitive athlete and you need some extra. We also find that we are consuming too much carbohydrates and fats. Both carbohydrates and fats make the food taste better. Carbohydrate gives you a sense of enjoyment, so we can get addicted to carbohydrates. Fats improve the taste of the food. You add more oil in your frying and all. So we get too much of that. And many a time we get not only excessive fat, we get the wrong type of fats. Because we live in towns, food has to be grown outside commercially. It has to be processed, packed, and so on. It is not as loaded with vitamins, antioxidants, and enzymes of freshly grown food. We still get a lot of nutrition, okay? It is not adequate enough for the type of lifestyle we lead. One thing which has suffered most is we do not get enough fiber. We normally don't talk about this because when you eat vegetables and fruits in large amounts, you get fiber automatically. So there's nothing much to discuss. But today, because that consumption has gone down, then we realize, the fiber that is missing can create major problems, okay? So that's another area that we got to focus on. The next thing to avoid is to take food. Sorry, I'll call you back. Is we take foods that have calories, and normally a food comes with calories. That means the energy content. Along with it comes nutrition. But today we have foods that have very little nutrition and large amounts of calories, like sweet drinks, syrup, canned drinks, ice cream, okay? Many other foods which are very enjoyable. Believe me, very enjoyable. That is why we take it. We enjoy it. Unfortunately, most of them have large number of calories with very little nutrition. So it creates a situation where your stomach is full. You've eaten a good amount of ice cream. You have taken some fizzy drinks. So you feel full. But the nutrition is not there. So the background cellular satisfaction is incomplete. And you have that background feeling of wanting to eat more. That's the urging of the body to look for food so that it can satisfy the nutrition part of it. So what happens? We eat more. And therefore, we consume too many calories. And then we get fat and wonder how to get reduce body weight. So what should we do? We need to do a number of things, not just the food. First of all, check out the family history, okay? This is what we do when somebody goes to buy a special breed of dog, special breed of horse. You know that these special breeds, their birth certificates are much longer than yours and mine. They go right up to the great-grandfather level to know exactly where they are descended from. They are that careful. So I think we should also just check out our family history. What diseases seem to be more prevalent? What tendencies we have? So once we know that, we can take some steps, okay? Let's say there's a strong history of diabetes in the family. Right from young, avoid sweet things as much as possible. Okay, nobody's asking you to come down to zero, We need to enjoy our food, but be a little careful. Don't overdo it. So if you do that, you might postpone the occurrence of diabetes, or you might altogether escape it. Okay? So check out your family history. And also get used to the location that you are living. Is it an area where there is a lot of infectious disease? For example, dengue. Is it prevalent in your area? You're not going to sell your house and move because of dengue, but you can take some preventive measure. Okay? So check your location and then see how your location affects your transport to going to work or visiting people or moving around, whether the food supply chain to the area that you live in is okay, or is it so far away that you only get packaged food or tin food or processed foods, okay? You also need to know what kind of airspace that you live in. Are you living in right in the city center where you never get fresh air? Then that's going to be a big problem, okay? Are you near health facility? Maybe not near, but easy to access a health facility, okay? As I mentioned earlier, there can be some accidents. You may cut your finger or you might fall down, or someone who's elderly in the family might slip and fall. So it's always good to at least know what is the nearest health facility and what kind of help is available, okay? Of course, natural disasters we can't predict. However, watch out for this. This doesn't happen often. And I still remember something that happened about 30 years ago. There was a landslide in Kuala Lumpur at a place, a very posh hillside area, totally unexpected. And the whole condo got buried in the landslide. Many people died, okay? Now, let's come to the diet. Nowadays, when you look at dietary advice, there's a lot of advice. Sometimes we can't keep track of it, okay? We can, right from the beginning, we must be able to do what is realistic, okay? Don't aim for what is beyond your capacity. So, very basic, eat fresh food as much as you can. It's not going to be anywhere near even 80%. Probably a bit less, but as often as you can. Fresh food. Now, this habit is very unpopular. This piece of advice is going to be very unpopular. Don't eat anything in between meals. Okay? Again, like I said, it is not 100% thing. We live in a society we cannot say no, but always be aware any consumption of snacks in between can contribute to poor health later, okay? But make sure that you have your meals regularly, okay? Of course, consume a variety. Don't go for your favorite foods only all the time. Every food has got something that the other food may not have as much. So if you eat a wide variety, all your requirements will be fulfilled better, okay? Now, fast food, why do we take fast food? It is fast and it's tasty, very enjoyable. And just 5 minutes, it's ready. Amazing, actually. Modern technology and organization is fantastic. So enjoy your fast food. Choose carefully. You don't have to eat it as very often, okay? That way, probably you will enjoy better, okay? When you're eating outside, always be careful, okay? Lots of advice, but one or two things. If you're eating in a place where the hygiene doesn't look all that okay, choose only hot food or freshly prepared, okay? Now, if you think that this outlet, the quality of oil they are using smells a bit funny, don't take any fried food there. Maybe take only soup. So use your regular common sense that you would use for any other shopping for your food also. Okay. Now, it's always good to have very small, satisfying snacks. Maybe tuna sandwich, or egg sandwich, very small amounts. There will be situations where you're hungry, you can't get what you need, and you have to eat something that you're not happy eating. The snacks will really help you a lot. Okay. Now, in spite of all this, as I mentioned earlier, due to our modern lifestyles, we have to fill in certain things. I mentioned earlier about antioxidants and healthy fats are the major missing factors in our modern food and lifestyle. And therefore, the only way to fill it up would be to take supplements. Okay. It doesn't mean that you eat what you want and you take the supplements, it will measure up. No, you must choose the best diet that you can most of the time, and you take some supplements. Now, when we talk about supplements, there are people who refuse supplements. There are people who are willing to consume any number of supplements. No, try to take a minimum. Stick to what you know is missing in your diet. You don't have to take anything extra. Okay. And generally speaking, I wouldn't swear by 3. Some people need only 2. Some people may need 4. On an average, you need probably about 3 at the most. If you need anything more, you may have a medical condition for which you are taking extra. That is fine. Okay. But otherwise, just stick to the minimum. And I'd like to just introduce some products that we have in Zincino, which satisfies or fulfills modern day lack of nutrition. Here are 2 products that you are familiar with. And if I may just break it down for you. Velexir, well, those of us who are living in Southeast Asia are lucky. This product is only available here. Okay. And there is no comparable product in the market for micro minerals and antioxidants. The vitamins and enzymes are actually an additional thing. There's hardly any product that combines these 2. 70 over micro minerals, antioxidant, which measures close to 20,000 units of ORAC per serving, not the whole packet, per serving. You won't get this elsewhere. So you may want to, and we lack antioxidants in our modern diet. You may want to consider Velexir for this. And when it comes to balanced oil, it has been estimated that something like 75 to 80% of the world population lack omega-3. Okay, we normally call it fish oil, but actually it is the vegetation and deep sea that makes it. Okay, it's more accurate to call it omega-3. Now, in Zincino, we call it balance oil because it has been found that omega-3 must be in the right balance with omega-6. And when this balance is upset, you create major inflammation in the body, which will not kill you day after tomorrow, but over a number of years can lead up to a lot of changes in the body, leading to degenerative diseases. Okay, so we call it balance oil. And to know that you are benefiting from it, we also have a test kit, which is not available elsewhere in this region, okay, where it will show you where you stand with regards to omega-3 and the balance, and a breakdown of many other oils, 11 fatty acids, in the circulatory system, which adds up to 98% of all the fats that are circulating there. Okay. Now, there is some omega-9 because the antioxidants that we extract and add to the balanced oil are taken from olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. And by the way, olive oil is a major, the major component of olive oil is omega-9. So that comes along with it. That's an added benefit. Because it's an oily product, we also add vitamin D3, which is also oil-based, okay? And as you know, vitamin D3 has come to the forefront over the last few years because of COVID and all that. And then they realized, generally speaking, most populations have very low vitamin D3. So balanced oil is an amazing product, and it can be tested to see whether it's working for you. Vincent mentioned earlier, we finally hit 1 million tests. Now, the lab that does that has done more than that for others, okay? We are not the only ones they are working on. So you can imagine the kind of experience this lab has in being able to analyze it carefully and give you a comprehensive report. So I've mentioned products, and I also talk about fiber. Xenobiotic is fiber, big topic. Very quickly, 6 types of fiber from 7 different sources. In other words, in one product, you get a variety of fiber that you probably will get from a few different meals, okay? So this is a very potent product. It feeds the friendly bacteria in your gut in a complete way, okay? So this is something that you would want to consider and take. Outcome of good nutrition, many things. They find that if the nutrition of one generation is taken care of, the next generation has stronger, when I say stronger, not physically only, immune system, resistance to disease, ability to stand up to changes in climate, much better, and smarter children. So it only stands to reason that not only nutrition for preventing chronic illnesses, okay, but also for the next generation. But to answer the topic for today, better nutrition will minimize, reduce, or maybe even eliminate degenerative diseases or chronic illnesses as we get older. Thank you. Maybe we can have some questions with regard to what I said. Any questions on what I've very broad topic today. So any areas that you need to have more explanations to understand? Very quiet today. There is one. Can you recommend the diet for a patient who underwent cutting her ovarian cyst? Okay, it's actually removal of ovarian cyst. Now, ovaries, I think all of you know what that is. All ladies have 2 ovaries, right and left, where the eggs are formed and goes towards being able to conceive and have babies. Sometimes this organ the ovary, can increase in size and decrease every month following the hormone changes in the period. Now, in the process of increasing in size, not the whole organ, parts of it, the decrease may not occur. So that area, you form a cyst. Okay, one reason. Some women, I mean, very small number, they may be born with some cysts which tend to increase in size as they get older. Okay. Now, if it doesn't cause any problem, you can actually leave it alone. But if it keeps growing in size, is causing pain every month when you have period, something has to be done. If it is possible to remove it, remove it. Sometimes all you need to do is puncture it and just suck out the fluid. Now, with the present day technology, we don't have to do, most of the time, don't have to do a major procedure, open up the abdomen and so on. You can do it through a scope, okay? Now, the question is, following that, what kind of diet would you recommend? Now, we have to look at the underlying cause. Here, probably one of the major contributing factor is hormones. So you must have a diet where it doesn't upset your hormone balance. And the hormones involved here are estrogen, progesterone. Okay? Progesterone will increase or decrease depending on a healthy diet. Estrogen is more affected by the amount of meat that you are taking, particularly chicken. Generally, I would say all women should eat far less chicken than what is being promoted in the market, because chicken has a lot of hormones added to it. Okay, all meat have, but chicken much more. So cut down your meat consumption and increase your vegetable consumption. How much product does a cancer patient need to eat a day? Better, I guess, to improve his health. Now, cancer patient, two or different situations. One, they are undergoing treatment, and at that stage, they feel really miserable. They can't eat well at a time when they require more nutrition. I would say take both Velexir, Balance Oil. Okay. After the treatment, same thing. Now you've got to increase the intake of Velexir, maybe 2 sachets a day, Balance Oil, twice the recommended serving, to top up what you may have lost during the treatment. Treatment could have been chemo, radiation, surgery, and so on. Okay, so both those products are important. Additionally, you may need to take more protein supplement. You can't eat much, not much appetite, so you won't be getting enough protein. It's good to take a protein supplement. Doctor, I have frequent headache affecting my performance. Do you think Balance Oil, Velexir? Okay. Now, you have a symptom. Here, the situation is a headache. You need to check out, okay? Headache, to diagnose the cause of headache is a big headache because it is such a simple symptom, and the possibilities behind, or the causes behind it is very large. Sometimes you may need several visits to understand why it's causing a headache. It could be as simple as eating a banana. Do you know that some people, empty stomach, they take a banana, they can get headache? Histamine reaction to food, and all the way to stress, glasses that are not matching the power of your eyes. Many simple things like that can cause headache. And sometimes it takes a while to work out where, okay? Now, meanwhile, you must also look at the diet. And as I mentioned, the 2 areas that are missing a lot in today's diet, omega-3 antioxidants and minerals. And of course, both will help. Now, will it cure the headache? No, you must find the cause of the headache. But when you treat the underlying cause, the treatment will give you better results with these supplements.
Okay, any last question for doctor? Last question for doctor, anyone? Yeah, everybody is quite knowledgeable already, after a year of listening to doctor. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay, all right. All right. Okay. Thank you, doctor, for sharing once again. Okay.
Thank you.
I think everybody here has I believe everyone here today has benefited and enjoyed the session tonight. Okay. So let us all give Doctor a round of applause one more time. Thank you so much, doctor.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. And of course, if you like what doctor has shared earlier, but you have not taken any of our product, okay. But before taking any of our product, do a test first. Okay. Do a test first. How? Contact the person who invite you to the call, okay, and have them to check with them and have them do a test first, okay, so that there won't be any guessing, all right, regarding your health status. You may or you have not been taking any products before. That's perfectly fine. Even maybe you have been taking 20 years, 30 years. Do a check, do a test to see where you stand. Okay, because the product that you may be using, are they up to your standards or up to standard? If you can be balanced, okay, well, you can continue taking it. If not, you may consider taking our balanced product, balanced oil and Belixia. Okay, we have plenty of customers who are on other brands of products, and they were very surprised that even after years of taking, they are still not yet balanced. In fact, in this part of the world, in fact, 97% of the people worldwide is out of balance. Okay, it's out of balance, which is very common. So it's very common when they do the first test, they are out of balance. Let's say, for example, 30:1. 30:1. Okay, very common ratio. What does we mean? What do we mean by 30:1? Okay, maybe I pull this thing out so it's easier for us to understand. Okay, this is actually my report. Okay, just for everyone sharing. This is my report. Okay, so when we say balance, okay, or healthy, all right, it's actually 3:1 and below. 3:1 and below. Okay, when we are 3:1 and below, we are balanced. We can manage the inflammation. All right, but when we are like in this type of situation, unbalanced, 12.7:1, meaning to say my omega-6 12.7:1 portion of omega-3. Okay, we are unbalanced, and when we are unbalanced, there's a lot of inflammation in the body. All right, and this prolonged excessive inflammation in the body might lead to chronic disease, which is the topic that Dr. Abraham is sharing today. All right, so we know that this is a major factor that causes chronic disease, and therefore now what we need to do is we have to reduce this balance to become balanced. And how are we able to get back to balance? Okay, we take balanced oil together with Belixia, together with Zinobiotic. Okay, and this is what I did for the first 4 months. Okay, this is my first report before I start taking any balanced oil and Belixia. All right, so I did the first test, and after that, I realized that I'm balanced. There's a lot of inflammation in the body. So what happened is that I take Belixia and balanced oil for Zinobiotic for 4 months, and of course, these are things that chronic inflammation might lead to. Okay, and after 4 months later, okay, went down to 3.4:1. Okay, 3.4:1. You can see a big difference. Initially, there's a lot of red color. Red color means fail the balance test. Okay, and right now we have done more than 1 million balance tests. All right, and we have helped about 1 million customers back to their health. All right, so 4 months down the road, 120 days later, okay, my second report came out. Okay, after taking the balanced oil and Belixia, 120 days went down to 3.4:1. You can see now it's moderate, yellow color. Okay, 3.4:1. Okay, for me myself, personally, there's no changes in my lifestyle, no changes in my diet. Okay, so everything is just based on the Balance Oil and Blackseer. Took one in the morning before breakfast. Okay, and for 4 months later, it went down 3.4:1. At this point of time, a lot of the partners and customers, they were actually balanced already. But for myself, because I'm keeping a normal diet, so it's still at 3.4:1. Okay, and you can see a lot of improvement already. And after another 120 days, which is 280 days, did another test, and it went down to 2.5:1. Okay, so from here you can see that the product is really helpful. It's really working for me. Okay, and of course, this is not just myself. I think most of all the partners and all the customers, they have seen this similar improvement as well. Okay, so if let's say you have not tried any of our product, do consider to try our Zinzino Balance Oil, Elixir, and Xenobiotic, okay, for your well-being. Okay, and of course, our Balance Oil can help to improve everyone in the family, whether you're 6 months old, working adult, or elderly, it would definitely benefits you, okay, because there are so many benefits to it. Okay, and these are the 18 health claims approved by the European Food Safety Authority that the omega-3s in the Balance Oil can help to improve all these functions. Okay, so that just now we were talking about products, and you can actually try the Zinzino products if you have not done so. And of course, if you like our weekly schedule, weekly session with Dr. Abraham, with Victor Chow, okay, do follow us at Team Zinzino Asia on our Facebook group, okay, because that's where we will be posting all our training, okay, and of course, not only you yourself can attend, but you can also share that with your prospects and customers as well. We have also follow us on our various social media channels so that you can stay connected with us and you don't miss out any important information that we are going to share, right? And of course, right now, as I mentioned earlier, we have reached 1 million tests. Okay, and it's a new milestone for us here in Zinzino, and we are going to give back to the field and most importantly to our customers. And now we are having this buy one get more campaign. Okay, buy one get more campaign, and just bear in mind this campaign is until tomorrow 11 p.m. Okay, until tomorrow 11 p.m. So you had to get this before the deadline. Okay, so okay, for this one, okay, you have to be you buy one of this customer balance oil kit, okay, with test during the campaign. You get another balance oil kit as well, 2 big, 2 small, and 1 test kit. Okay, but okay, just bear in mind this one has to be on a 6-month subscription. Okay, in order for you to get the double products. All right. Okay, if let's say you're on the mini kit, okay, a one-time purchase, then you will only be getting a free serum for that customer orders. Okay, just bear in mind this. All right, so if you're getting a mini kit, you will get 1 free serum. Okay, so if you are getting the subscription kit, okay, you'll get double products. Okay, until tomorrow 11 p.m. So grab it. Okay, don't miss this opportunity, because this opportunity is not to come very often. All right. Okay, and of course, lastly, okay, we are also having this Test Your Health Challenge. Okay, you can win 2 tickets to our annual event. Okay, with 3 nights accommodation and 1,000 euros towards your flight. Okay, so all you need to do is just to follow our social media, IG or Facebook at Zinzino Official. Okay, and then after that, you can capture an image or record a video showcasing your balance test, whether you're doing yourself or whether you are doing for someone else. Okay, capture it, okay, and post it, and tag Zinzino Official and hashtag Test Your Health in the running. Okay, so we will select 20 of the Test Your Health videos and award them with the free Zinzino balance test, and also stand the chance to win 2 tickets to annual event. Okay, for this in Oslo. All right. Okay, that's all for tonight. All right. Thank you very much for your participation. All right. And I hope you have enjoyed the session tonight. And do stay safe and do plenty of meeting and sharing in the meantime. Okay. Make good use of our campaign. Okay. To talk to your customers and have them to and get them back to balance. Okay. And I Thank you very much for participation. Okay, good night, and I hope to see you again on the next session, which is this coming Friday for Miss Julia's session, the Mandarin Health Talk. All right, thank you very much. Bye for now. Thank you.